Mic check, mic check. There we go. Okay, good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Let's get started. So first of all, jumping in on the day, you can see that we're already down here. Let me open this up. Okay. So look, even though the market looks like it's down, right? You always have to correct your thinking. Even though the market looks like it's down, right? We're showing down 216 and down 46 on ES, right? We are just trading within the range and we're at the very edge of yesterday's range. It's important to keep that in mind so you don't let the emotion carry you over. In order to trend down, what are you looking for? First hour low, are we below it? London low, are we below it? Prior day's low, are we below it, right? And so you should write those down to balance out your what you're looking at, right? If we look at ES, this is ES on the 60-minute, right? And you can see the picture looks pretty similar, right? What would be interesting on ES, right, which is more in balance, see that? We've been in balance really, so there's the whole picture, right? See that? That's the whole, when you look at that picture, right? If you were a long-term investor, for me, I'd either have a line drawn right here or a line drawn right here, right? And before I got bearish, I would really say, wow, I really need to hold below those two levels. Otherwise, all we're doing is we're going from high to low, right? This has been pretty much the high that's been unable to sustain right there, right? Poke above, fail, poke above, fail, poke above, fail, poke above, fail, poke above, fail. So, right, to be mega bullish, I'd want to see an impulse move and a drive above 69, 70, 50. And I want to see the backside test of that 69, 70 test and hold. And you can see it's been unable to do that multiple times, going all the way back to November, right? But additionally, right, it can't really hold underneath this either, right? So far on the back tests, we've been unable to hold below, I'd say right there where this high is. This is what I'm looking at right here, right? So you'll notice it's traded underneath there and even considerably, right? Almost 50 points, but there's really been inability to get below 68.14, 68.38 and hold, right? So that's the balance area, is really 68.30-ish, let's call it, to 69.70, right? And so I'm not a technician as far as technical analysis. I'm just a guy who's traded a lot, right? So what I see, right, is an inability for the market to really roll lower. Now, it does it very quickly when it does it, right? Let me give you an example. Oh, I can't because I don't have enough days loaded, so I'll just try to rectify that really quickly. And we'll come back to this chart as it reloads. Okay, so we'll let that load and we'll come back to it in a second. Okay, so on NQ, if you do the same thing, we can look at it via profile because I have the days loaded there already. Them all in and crunch them. Okay, that's as much as I have loaded on this chart. There we go. So if you will look, right, the low in November was at 24,143, right? Getting that tested and even a little bit underneath, if you look how strong the response are, if we lose 24,143, we're currently at 24,798, right? So 24,798, that's only 800 points away, right? And I say only, but we've been getting pretty close for the last 2 days, right? So we could test 24,143 today, right? I'd look for either a close below or a test below, then a spring back in to come back to a 50-60 retrace or something like that, right? Where I would get nervous if I was an NQ is if we lost this low over here, right? That's where I would get nervous. It's on that double bottom, right? In that 23,517 neighborhood. That's where I'd be like, oh, that's not good. to lose that, right? Because we tested underneath. See how once we got above um, in this area, I know the lines aren't drawing very efficiently because it's trying to download all those days, but once we got below that 25, 23,517, you can see they tried to resist, they tried to resist, they tried to resist, got underneath, right? Popped back up, ran, came all the way back to almost a 786 retrace, it looks like, right? And they could not get back below there. And that's what sprung that 827 is really what sprung the run to the high from 827. We ran from 23,700 all the way up to 26,300, right? So that's kind of back to the scene of the crime from the beginning of the rally in August, right? Now, I'm not giving anyone advice on how to manage their positions or long term or short term, but corrections are good and healthy for us. They help us make money. And what I'm trying to encourage you is not to get bearish at the low or to freak out if we do go lower, right? Either way, from our perspective, what we're looking for is to trap sellers, get above them, and get the clear Q. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. But that's the larger picture. And really, from the larger picture, if you went long the first day on August, let's say August 1st, right? You're really looking at it going, okay, well, it sucks that it's come back, but I'm really okay. Where it hurts on individual stocks is when the NASDAQ rolls. High flyers tend to get really just the piss knocked out of them, right? As it's coming down, and the individual stocks can get hurt much worse than the index itself, right? So that's the first thing. So let's go back to, let me spread this out because I actually need this chart. There we go. And I have not highlighted the value areas yet, but I will as soon as I get a chance. The gray areas, right? Those gray areas, you'll see that almost all the volume. The one area I look at that I see here, by the way, just really quickly, where there's a big lip, is from this low volume node to here, right? And then there was a big chunk of volume right there. I don't know why, but there was. Okay, so those will go as blue. So you know what you're looking at on the chart. And then this is right on value area low, and where I'm just going to highlight it. I hate it when we distribute equally like this, but there's a low volume node right there inside of value. Most of this is inside of value, so I'm just going to draw it like this. I'm going to make it purple. Purple just means it's a little bit weaker or it's inside value, one of the two. Okay. And I don't have anything else. I'd have to go back and find the old ones. There's a naked volume point of control right here. Color that yellow. Okay, and there's an old value area low, and I'm not going to go do the value areas to the left. Right now, it'll take up too much time. I'll do them later because we don't need them as much. Okay, the next thing I want to show you. Okay, so let me go back to ES really quick. Okay, so here is what's below on ES, right? This is what it looks like going back. So if you look, going back to that same August, this was the beginning of the rip right here, right? This is the whole big run starting right down here, okay? So the first thing I would look at, I still didn't load enough days, right? Is I'd have to get underneath that to go, oh, we just wiped out the entire last half of the year and everything we got in between. Really what this tells me is we're in balance, right? If you'll look, starting here, starting right here. We have not been able to get below really 68.38. We're currently trading at 68.62, I believe. 68.52, excuse me. And we have not been able to get below 68.38 and hold. So guess what I would look for? Below 38, if I was a bottom fisher, I'd start looking for the longs to set up, right? And I'd want the same thing based off the hour, start on the hourly and work my way from there, right? But that's probably the balance. The 67.72 would come up next. And you've got a long way underneath 67.72 to get back to that 11.18 low. ES is relatively outperforming NQ because if you look at the two, okay, here's ES, same date. If you go back, well, I'm not going to unwind it. Oh, here we go. If you bring it all back, we are below the December low, right? We're below the December low, and sorry, and we're still above that 1114. I guess ES just feels like it's performing better, right? But that's that November low that we're looking at. And my guess is if it gets really hairy, that's what we're going to test. Not a hard guess, right? Okay, so let's put this back to what we're looking at. Restore, and those levels should be there, and they are not. So this is, let's just put some more stuff on here. Why don't we? F5. I wish I could split this screen into two sections. So this chart, first let's get 10 days, and then let's do NQ 60 minutes. Oh, that's what the problem is. I see what the problem is. Dun, 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 dun. Let's just see if I don't have to do this at all. Hit OK. And then go to this 24. Are they there? Indeed, they are. And I need to tie it to this NQ profile, which is number 7. F5. And it's on there. Good. Cancel. Okay, and I have the right size bar on there now. That helps. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And this is this red line right here. This is yesterday's low, right? I do not have London's low on here. I'll have to put it, but obviously the Globex low is back over here, right? So, okay, very, very important for me. Let's go back to what set up the long yesterday and what will set up the longs and shorts today for how we view it. And if you're finding yourself struggling, so I want to say this, if you're finding yourself struggling with waiting to get above and below our trigger lines, it's normal, right? Because I've taught everyone how to, with using the 24 tick, how to pick off the lows or how to pick supernova, the turns. But if you'll focus on that hourly and then go to everything you know about that, the 24 tick, you'll have much better results and much bigger extensions. Okay. Number 2 thing, it's hard to wait, but you don't get chewed apart when we roll down hard with this process, which is very, very important. So if you'll look at yesterday, right, what I put down was, see that yellow line? And I said if we get above 24,948, we should roll higher. That's stage 1. But what stage 2 had to happen, if you look at this had 2 of 3 pieces that were very, very important that we did not get the third piece. So first of all, the context. We're trending down and we're in a bit of a bear market, right? We've rolled over. Sorry, my mic dropped. We rolled down hard, right? And so normally this and this would give you fuel to the upside, right? And it did. If you look from where our trigger was, we went from 24,948 to 25,160. That's good, right? That's 200 points, essentially, right? If you look, the route that it took to get there was very circuitous, right? If you simply went long because we got this close above 248, 24,948, and you held your low on that. If you said, I'm not letting go until I get 100 points, right? We got 100 points pretty much straight away. But afterwards, there at 1430, you went from 24,875, right? So if you entered right at 948, let's say hypothetically, right, on the first signal above 948, so we'll call it 950, right, and you roll down to 875, that's 75 points, right? That's a pretty good chunk of change. It's $1,500, right? And then but from there, right, you got all the way up to 25,160, 170, right? So that's 948, 048, 148, 200 points. So you still got your RR. 75 points was the maximum heat. You still got a 2-to-1 RR trade, right? That's what you should be keeping in the back of your mind as to what's possible, right? But if you look at it and you come back to this yellow line, which is still here, right? And you go, oh, let's do this so we don't have to chase. Is today Thursday? Son of a gun. I forgot to put out the garbage. That's fine. No big deal. What time is it? Guys, I got to go do that real quick. Okay, I apologize. I still have time to do it, I think. So let me go try and do that real fast. But hold on, just so y'all can reference, right? Here's the break above, right here, right where I put that arrow, right? That's the impulse move above, and it's exactly as I've been drawing it out. This is what we're looking for today, okay? This is what we are looking for today. That is your first dot up. That's your second dot on the turn and engulfing bar. That's your third engulfing bar, okay? From there, from this entry, which is roughly 24, the first blue dot above was roughly 24.70. The first dot on the turn was roughly 24.984. And you ran from 24.984 to 25.081 from 1 o'clock till 1:45. Took 45 minutes to get up there. Okay. That pattern repeats. And that's why you didn't have to guess all the way down, nor did you have to get the low to still be able to get a big fat 100-point trade and get yourself paid. Okay. Same thing today. And it was the same thing, by the way, on the short side, which I'll cover right when I get back. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Apologize for the delay. Um, NVIDIA to delay new gaming chip. So whatever that means. Hey Ed, I lost my mic. I forgot to put out the garbage. I had to turn off the mic. Can everyone hear me? Mic check, mic check. Yeah, okay. So, sorry, I forgot to throw out the garbage. I had to go put it out. Okay. So this is the long from yesterday, right? Here's the AM, right? It comes from up here. Okay, we're already short coming in. See that? We're already short coming in. Your long coming into the first would have been above 25,419. Your acceleration below is the break of this bar right here, but you already set up long. It was just accelerating more underneath. And your fuel for that break came from this bar right here. Okay. They just couldn't get back to it. So if you look, this is the closest thing we had to close above. This is the last bar that did close above, but it goes in stages, is what I'm trying to explain. Stage one, this one was the bigger bar and had the bigger value area, right? And it was underneath both these bars. So this was the next stage right here. Okay. So if you go back and look at that, okay. And then this is the bar before the open. That's stage two. Okay. Here's the open. We got over here. There we go. One more. Too much. Okay, we can't find a balance. Okay. Why don't I have stage two on there? Ah, there it is. I just can't see it. I didn't make it big enough. Okay. Here's stage one, right? We open up. Ding, ding, ding. Bell rings. 8:30 in the morning, right? Right out of the gate, it's too fast to catch unless you had a computer doing it. 8:30, orange dot down, right? Comes down, see all the diamonds going down. You're looking for your algo, your engulfing bar for the continuation. If you took this engulfing bar, I'm pointing out right here, it's a stop. Remember, this is fast as lightning. There was, I think, no way to do it manually, right? Entry two, entry three, okay? Comes back into test, right? Comes back up here. Now you had to decide, but remember, when you look at this, because you're probably going to see the same thing today, right? Here's the 200, right? Here, 5 minute 200, 1 minute 200. We could not get above those, right? And what I find where people are having difficulty is where they're having difficulties, they're just looking at that and not incorporating it into their thought process. They're getting so locked, like stop and write down, force yourself to write it down. Where are they? You're usually not bullish if you're not above the 200 to begin with, right? And then the second part is you got to get above something, right? And what you had to get above was all the way over here. The bar you had to get above was 25,419, right? And after the first hour, you had to get above 25,390, okay, which was the high of the day. And then it shifted down as we went through the course of the day, right? It's super simple math. Like, it just got to get above it. If you can't, you're not going higher, right? And the fact that it's not above it doesn't mean you guess it will get above it. You go, when it gets above it, I look for my setups. If it doesn't get above it, I don't look for my long setups, right? And if it'll be frustrating at first. You will miss trades that will be good trades to the upside because of what you know, but you will have more consistency and longer extensions if you wait till you get above and below those bars for your breaks. So it's the break plus the setup. So it's the same thing this afternoon. In the afternoon, it just works smoother. And the reason it works smoother was because there's less participants in the afternoon and that mega high speed went away. So where are we for today? Okay, let's erase all this. So now let's set the context for today. Okay. So first of all, let's get all the way over to today. So first of all, it looks like, though I can't be certain because anything can change, but that we are coming in obviously in a short market mode. This bar right here is what told me I was short. Okay, there was two considerations. First of all, if I traded underneath here and I set up, that was short potential one, right? And then that it kept shifting over, right? But that was really the last bar to the high underneath. Value got trapped on high. Value shifted down, and we closed below. This is both your um, incinerator bar, right? The fuel you need to go lower were these two bars, plus the shift down, plus the bar closed below the shift down. Like that had everything you wanted in it. From this point right here, if you were trading overnight, that gave you all the fuel you needed. Now, go look at that, right? And go look at this would have triggered short right here. We said the algo itself would have triggered short, right? Now look what the algo takes. Short and stopped, right? The blue dot down. If it didn't take both of them because it was already in one. So the first one didn't extend enough. And so it's one stop, right? Short entry two, that never stopped, right? Diamonds down, see those diamonds down, right? Usually your first impulse back up and you're engulfing work, usually. That's engulfing one, or if you wait for your blue dot, that's blue dot one, right? Again, came back up. That's Dan's trade anyways, right? White bar down, see you, right? Remember, you're not having to guess at any of these longs all the way down here, right? The liquidity level does not matter, right? Orange dot stuffed for the next short, blue dot down and blue dot stuffed for the next short. That's on to 642. Orange dot down. Remember, the computer is going to take all of those, right? And blue dot down right over here. Okay, and that's pretty much, and then you get led into 7 o'clock. Stop, paid, short. I don't know if that got stopped or not. No, it didn't. Short again. The only thing is I don't have the channels here, so I don't know if it actually, let's look. Cancel. The only thing I don't know on that is, let's see, TMP banner sequence only. It's this one. There, that's the trades that it actually took. This is overnight since, I think that's actually since midnight. And it's up 1896, but this resets at some point, so it shows 186. But you can see the trades that it took there, right? And the scales that it got all the way through. You can see when it got stopped and didn't get stopped, right? So since midnight last night, it's up 1896, right? And it's almost all was in that short period, right? So that's how you align your. You don't need to counter the long, right? This is a sequence. It's up 290, and we go from there, right? So coming into the day again, first thing I'm going to look at. Okay, my long signal will take place this morning at the open above that. Okay. So I need above 24, 868.50. Now, if you want to guess beforehand that it's going to reverse and go back up, be my guest. I have learned through a lot of hard work that I will have my best chance above 24, 868. Okay. That's where I'll have my best chance. That's what I'll wait for, or until something new sets up. The figuring out the short or the long out of the gate is the hardest part. And there's two reasons for it. The moves are going to be fast. Yesterday we were having 100 points in under a minute. I cannot handle that personally. I just can't I can't drive my chart I just can't trade through that. I don't trade through that very well at all. Okay. And so I won't be able to do it manually, most likely. It's just too fast. I can't get my entries and my stops in time. And even when I do, I can't get my brain wrapped around 100 points in a minute. So I'm going to have to let it go, right? Econ wise, by the way, I did not do that. We have B of A cuts Qualcomm. ECB Legrand, ECB president, she is speaking right now. That always makes things challenging. They made a rate decision. 9 o'clock, Jolt's job openings, and then Bostic speaks. And I think we just, oh no, we haven't opened yet. It's just going whack. Bostic speaks at 9:50. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 9:45. Bostic speaks. Set your Boston speaks alarm for 9:45 a.m. And then what I find interesting is the potential for short squeeze at the close because of Amazon's numbers. I'll look for that. If it sets up from everything else sets up and it looks like it can squeeze, meaning we go off the hourly, it sets up. I'll work off of that. Trump, if you're trading Asia, makes some kind of announcement in Asian session at 6 o'clock my time. White House press briefing at noon. So that's all I got. And I'm sure there'll be blah, blah, blah all day long. I'm just going to let the algo do what the algo does. And I'll pick my places the best I can based on the speed. I'm telling you right now, everybody, the people who are having difficulty are digging holes early in the day and they're not respecting the 100-point massively fast moves. Either cut your size or just bear in mind that you're going to get triggered because you're going to get swept for 50 to 100 points with a quickness if you don't have your auto stops in. And if you do have your auto stops in, they're going to get tagged fast, right? And the problem with 100 down and 100 up in a minute is you can be up 100 and all of a sudden be down on the trade too because it's moving in less than 30 seconds. Respect the speed, guys. Respect the speed that it's going. We're not designed to do that, right? And so that's my 2 cents on ES, right? Coming into the open, I will look for longs starting, right? I'll have to assess that everything else is there. That's 68, 80, 75. That's where I'm going to start to look for longs. Okay. Not picking off lows. They can drop it like a rock if they want to. I don't care. Right? My only job is to pull money out of this thing. That is it. That is my job. That is your job too, right? That is it. I want to say something. I know guys that have been very, very, very good at reading the markets. Okay. One of the things that um, I really struggle with is the difference between being an order entry operator, which is very addictive, and a trade manager. You really want to strive to be a trade manager, right? And for those of you who have the trader assist, let the trader assist put you into the trade as much of the time as possible. Secondly, it takes forever sometimes to let the hourly set up, right? But it pays, right? Get a book, right? Get a video game. I play golf and some shooter game that they have where I go blow people up, right? That's what I do when I'm bored, right? Or I watch a video or I learning how to code or I do something usually has something to do with the coding or understanding so that I don't get murdered. Okay, I do not want to be killed in my trading. I'm going to say that again. I don't want to be killed in my trading. Secondly, it's pretty fast. The 32 tick is working okay. Let me show you. Here's the 32 tick setups. So we know we were all short this morning. Green dot down over here. Here, I'll use zero. Green dot down. Blue dot stuffed. Orange dot down on the turn. Orange dot stuffed. Nothing here. Blue dot down. Blue dot stuffed. White bar down is okay, not great. Right, and this is all short through here. Orange dot stuffed. It was only a 1 bar, so yeah. And remember, it was short all the way up here, right? So It was orange dot down, got you the whole, got to that whole enchilada there. And it was already triggered short there, as you can see. And initially on the 32 tick, you would have taken a stop right here, right? I think you can use the same 30-point stop on that 32 tick. It's a little bit easier to read when it's fast, right? So I'll stay with the 24, but that's your alternative if the 24 is too fast. But it's the same rules, right? I got to get above 24, 868. You can see it's not that far away, right? It can make a rip. You can see we've already rejected off of it once, right? So that's what I got to get above to be long. And then I have the opportunity to trade back up and squeeze some shorts. It's good when we gap down like this. We really do a pretty good job of trapping people. The only time that changes is if fundamentals have changed and they keep selling it. We'll have a pretty good picture of that because it's going to probably set up on the 60-minute. And it's better if it sets up on both the ES and NQ at the same time, but it doesn't always do that. Any questions? Keep your head about you today. These are hard markets. If you go on tilt, they will wipe you, right? They do not care. They do not care. Okay? So if you're going to go, oh, it was hard and I got wiped, right? Well, shit, it's moving 100 points in a minute, right? So you got to respect that. Okay? You've got to respect that. I don't give a shit what the chart says. If you can't execute it, you can't execute it, right? What are you going to do? Chase it 30 or 40 points below the execution, right? Or get blown out because you couldn't get your stop in? Or you're going to go on tilt because your stop got hit in a nanosecond, right? That can all happen when we go up. So respect it, let it wind itself out. There was plenty of opportunity yesterday. I imagine there'll be plenty of opportunity today, right? So what I'm going to do, since we're coming to the open here in 2 minutes, is I'm going to switch. This one runs on sim. So this ended up with sequence at 720. I'm going to change it to 37, 39. Okay. And I'm going to switch this one. So coming in from the overnight, it's up 1896. I'm going to switch it to 66. Okay. And it'll get a new fresh start for the day. Okay. And why in the world doesn't this thing auto scroll to the end? There you go. So that's where we're at. And just go from there. Any questions, guys? Keep your head about you is all I can say. So this thing's already short first thing in the morning. I just saw it take a trade, right? It took that first bar. Oh, I see. Because I don't have it set till after 8:30. Got it. So it's already going to take a trade there. So the first trade would be a, haha, not really. See, it's going to take that. So we'll just see where it goes. So for bullish move for me, above 24,868, and I'll just let it do what it's got to do. Okay. ES down 62, NQ down 277, which is not as bad as I would have thought for down that much. I bet it got all three of those scales, didn't it? Yuppers. That's cool. We tested Globex low. We tested a little bit underneath there. They try to trap it. I'm not even going to attempt this because I'm afraid of getting swept for 100 in a nanosecond. So I'll just let it do what it's got to do. I'm very confident I'll have a good trade. If I see the pace is reasonable, I'll trade it. But I hate getting whipsawed in the first couple of seconds, right? At least give it 10 minutes to let them whipsaw everybody else. Unless it's so important to you that that's all you got to do what you got to do. And there was a market on order imbalance, market on open imbalance That wasn't very big on market on open. 110 million. And Nasdaq was an imbalance to the buy side for 38 million. Again, those aren't very big numbers. Thanks, Ripper. Not shocking. Let's see how we got through this. If it took a stop. Nope. So far, so good. I'm sure that'll trigger if that bar points down. Let's see. That's a trade I would never take. Let's see what it actually ends up doing. Because I guarantee the algo took that. Oh, no, it wasn't the fourth channel. Sorry, my bad. Oh, yeah, it was. It was definitely the fourth channel. Interesting. Because the blue dot didn't land on the last bar. It was second to last bar. Got it. That's on the same data feed within the same chart book, and now it is short. So we'll see if it gets stopped. My guess is that gets stopped. Scale 1. Scale dose and move to break even. What do I know about anything? There we go. I would have never taken that trade. I'd have gone, nope, it looks like we're going to go. See, my feeling is we're going to go up and take out that high, right? And I would skip that trade. And nope, wrong thing. 50 points. Close to triggering for the longs. It's got to be completely gapped that level for the first dot. So I'm looking for diamonds up, 3 bars back now for the potential on the long side, right? And this obviously, remember that hourly bar has to close to trigger the longs, right? So just keep that in mind. Let's see how we're doing so far. See, it flips short. So that's where the danger is in this, is it flips short through here on that rip, right? And that's where the danger is on that when it's a long bar like that and in the first 30 minutes, which is fine. I have no problem with it, but that's what it is. That blue bar, that blue dot above, I would count that as a long, right? Hard environment in the first 30 minutes, but I would. That happened. That's just not even possible. Okay, so this is where we're triggered long and the algo will not trigger long. So heads up on this. Okay, this thing's going to keep hunting shorts above that level. It's the one area I have to fix. So this is where you would go. So see, it's not going to short. It's not going to short above this orange line. Okay, it will not short above this orange line here, but it did. What did it short above that orange line? It should not short above that orange line. That's the safety valve. I will have to look into that. Okay, but when you see that, that's where you go from a manual assist standpoint, you'd hit the pause button, right? So again, the first 30 minutes, right? We're not even to 8:45 yet, right? So that's the risk in the first few minutes when it's wild like that, and that's okay with me, right? It will not flip long until that bar closes at 9:30, and we have to work on a solution for that. But that's my 2 cents about that. And it is still lightning fast. Hey guys, I think there's got to be a problem with rhythmic. Does my trader seem behind at all, or does it seem on time? Or does anyone else, like I'm looking at Rhythmic and it seems way behind on the timing. And this is off of TRADEify. So is anyone else seeing it slow? But on which one? Is it on Sierra chart? Is it on TRADEify? Hey, Ed, are all your charts on East Coast? Just turn it off for now. The timing's different on them. That's the problem. I bet your charts are set to East Coast. It's throwing off the timing on it. We'll have to figure it out. Just turn it off for now. That shouldn't be right. But these aren't that far behind. Where's this? We're trading 24,905. That's right. 24,900. That's right. My PA is lagging a bit. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, just like I said, Joyce, you're not supposed to be, anyways, till 8:45, guys. Yeah, I can't tell, when it's fast like this, I can't hunt down where the problem is. Yeah, I'll disconnect and reconnect, but it's happening in multiple places because I sent an order just to test on Tradeify, and like it filled me 20 points away from the market. Like it wasn't even there, right? That's what alerted me to it. So does anyone have an accurate, well, I do here. 24, 913, 911, 912, 914. I show mine is all accurate. I don't know what the delay is. I disconnected and reconnected, and that's on Denali data. Like there should be no delay there. So I don't know what to say. I would expect up, actually. If I could manually flip this thing to long, I would. And I'm going to kill the recording thing. I have it for this morning. That'll be good enough. I'll just end it here.